Hello and welcome to Quiz Best Practices. I see a lot of different approaches to taking quizzes and I wanted to talk about some tips and tricks. Obviously you can tackle it any which way you want. However, there may be some things that will help you do your best. My aim when anyone takes a quiz is a perfect score. A perfect score tells me that you got to study, that you have processed ideas, that when you got something wrong, you studied it, you asked about it, that you have learned that material. I want you taking that quiz as many times as you need to. Oops, sorry, hair in the way. I want you taking it as many times as you need to for you to feel like, I know this stuff. I understand. Maybe that's like right on the cusp of a perfect score. Maybe it is a perfect score. Maybe you took it 4 times. All of those things are possible. So first, you have time. That could happen. If you have time, I want you to review all of the material. Then I want you to take the quiz without a lot of expectation. Next, you revise. What kind of things were still unfamiliar? What kind of questions were you hesitant about? Where you were like, what's that? Like, I don't understand that. And you can take notes about those things, or you can reach out to me because I can review your quiz. And that gives me the chance to say, oh, you missed everything about X, like comma splices or something. And that gives me the chance to say, hey, you're just missing this one detail, or you're missing this kind of question, and I can help support you. And then, of course, you take that quiz again, and your best score is always the one that counts. What if you don't have a lot of time? A lot of time, that's me. I don't have a lot of time to figure out what exactly I want to do. So when I don't have a lot of time and I'm really busy, I just take the quiz. I take it and I say, what's happening? What is that quiz like? What kind of questions do they ask? A lot of times you are going to be assigned like a chapter to read, but the quiz may focus on 1 or 2 subheading areas. And so you've been reading the whole chapter trying to figure out, okay, what from every section is going to be in here. And then you take a quiz and you're like, it only covered like 3 things. Like, how is that working? Like, that doesn't make sense. So that will help you prepare for that kind of thing. So I take the quiz and I say, what's out there? What's it look like? I try my hand at the questions. It's surprising how many times that will actually work out for you. We're often adults coming in here, right, with lots of different ideas behind us, lots of education and experience, and we tackle those and we get them. Second, after I've taken that quiz for the first time to figure out sort of what's happening, I review the material. I say, what kind of concepts were there? I look for the kinds of questions that were asked, and I focused on those. Then I take the quiz again, and that's usually where I catch all of that. At any point, never hesitate to talk to your instructor. You may be comfortable reading it all and responding to the quizzes, or you may find that to be really difficult. You may need to hear it. So hearing a presentation about the topic, that may help you a lot. Maybe meeting with your instructor to talk about specific areas that you're struggling with, being able to explain to you the how and why of how a particular section is working. That's what we're here for. We're your teammate to help you and guide you. These ideas are also really important if you're taking standardized tests. So this part about like taking the material, looking at the questions, then reviewing the material, that's how I always worked on any of those big exams. I would first say, what are the questions? What kind of stuff do they want me to know or to process? And then from there, I would go back and read and look for those details. So what you're doing in that sense is you're saying the questions used words like procedure. We're looking for verbs and subjects and direct objects. We're looking for really sort of key elements. We're not looking for the whole question. We're looking for those key elements. So does it mention, if it's about a story, does it mention a person? Looking for their name, what that means about them. Is it about specific topics? So it's talking about spacing in APA or formatting styles, or it's talking about punctuation. Those are our keywords to look for. And that then, after I read the questions, I always went back and read whatever the paragraph was, whatever the study was, to then be able to highlight and answer those questions. I have talked to students who feel like this is cheating. That's absolutely not true. Like these are steps for you to get the most out of what you're studying and processing. If I read a chapter over and over and over, and I am consistently only getting a little info from it, or I'm wearing myself out by rereading and rereading, then I'm not succeeding at that. We need to be smart with our time. We need to figure out what works for us, and we need to reach out for that support. Bulldogs are doing a lot of stuff today. So anyway, check out these best practices and never hesitate to ask questions about how you're taking exams, how you're taking quizzes or tests, because I love helping you process the sort of space those are in. There are lots of people behind how we take tests and why we take them. So if we can learn all of that, we do better. It's the same way that I teach you things like a 5-paragraph paper that can shrink and it can grow. And once you understand it, you go look at what you're reading in a new light and you gain a lot more insight. That's what we're doing here as well.